Yo, we got a video here today, and it's Bachelors are pathetic. Now, this can be looked at from multiple different angles, but let's get straight into it.
And it's this thing that seems to be happening with this sort of new age vibe. Certain people, it seems as though people are so self-absorbed and self-consumed that they don't really take the time to develop proper relationships anymore.
Some people are just way more introverted than others, and then obviously, I'd probably say the majority is that they're in the middle, right? They can be somewhat introverted, somewhat extroverted, and then you've got the outliers.
This includes friendships, right? But also more what we think of as romantic relationships between men and women. And, at first I really thought it was more of a black thing, an African American thing, like the stigma.
Some groups might have, picked up the game a little earlier than others. You think about some of the music industry, they were saying that these town bicycles, they're not loyal. They were talking about hypergamy before that was even actually a word.
As we hear about black men, black women, and while I do think that we have our own struggles that are unique to us, I'm also noticing after talking to some other friends of other cultures and races that it's really just a sign of the times.
It's global. It's global. People are struggling all over the place, especially in these so-called Western democracies.
MGTOW bullshit. If you don't know what that acronym means, it basically means men who go their own way. So some men, I think, are doing this with awareness, and they're actually labeling themselves as that.
Yeah, some of us have the cojones to say, hey, I'm just a straight up bachelor. I'm going to go free agent lifestyle, do my thing. I'm going to not get entangled by certain government contracts. And on the flip side, if you were to be in that level 1 tap and gap, if you were just online, you wouldn't really want to be talking about it. You'd just be doing it. You wouldn't need to sort of get internet validation of your notch count. You need to basically say, hey, internet, check out my notch count.
And then others are doing it sort of involuntarily, or maybe they don't realize they're just falling into that sort of lazy trap. And I say lazy because, with all the technology.
Lazy is one way to put it. There are lazy people, straight up. Now, once you've sort of got your mind woke up, you've got to obviously do other things too. Some people say, oh, well, you don't do other things. The information's out there. People know how to be healthy. They know how to exercise. They know what to eat, what not to eat. The problem is discipline. Do people have individual discipline to make positive or negative choices day in, day out?
And just a lot of self-gratification. Men are starting to seem pretty satisfied with porn, watching porn, I guess, just kind of.
Well, let's get into that. Let's get into the producing of the prawn. Who is gaining money off it? Potentially young, attractive ladies, and they are basically infecting people aged 11 to 60, I guess, but it starts young. They're taking advantage of young, impressionable, thirsty guys across a huge spectrum.
Does it for them? Or, because there's this sort of like free me movement and slut walk and all this stuff, and women are just freely having sex with whoever because they think they can do anything that men can do. Well,
that is part of it. They're out there getting the free dinners, getting the concerts to Rihanna. Why not?
Now men are just getting so much free pussy that they don't have to really do anything, right? There's no value in
They do have to do things, but they don't have to get married. That's potentially a big one. Don't have to get married. Don't have to sign the dotted line. Sometimes don't even have to move in together.
Marriage. There's no value in even committed relationships, and it's quite disgusting. So, this has been going on for some time, right? It's not like it's anything new with the whole open leg thing, and I'm not saying that like every woman should walk around a virgin, But there's definitely this.
Why not? Or here's another scenario. Why not just be neutral? That's the thing. On a lot of these issues, we got to pretend like it's even a neutral playing field. It isn't. People are either positively or negatively trying to influence their ideology, whatever it is.
This thing where it's promoting this extremely disgusting individualistic culture. So even people who want families can't have families because they can't find good mates. Families does not always have to mean like having 10 children. Families can also just mean a husband and a wife.
And that's her situation right now. See, if I was back in my young days, 18, 20, yeah, you could, hypothetically go 6, 7, 8, 10 children, right? But even now, if I wanted to settle down, I'd still want to have a couple of kids, 2, 3, whatever.
But even that is becoming harder and harder to find because a lot of men are just like, what's the point of getting married? Just know I find it very disgusting.
There you go. It is disgusting. But she made the point. What's the point in getting married? Well, if you don't want to have kids, then in my opinion, none. No point. That's just me, though. That's just my opinion.
A lot of women find it very disgusting. And on that note, and it's not like I want to come off as like, oh, I'm just male bashing. That's not the point. But there is definitely this thing where I notice with men, and this will go back to the black men thing.
Whoa.
Most black men, if they take care of themselves, can look young for a long time. So there's an upside and a downside. The upside is you look young for a long time.
You could say that with Asians as well. Asians can age pretty well. Some of the, the Anglos can. The Mediterraneans, the Italians, they age quite well too. Or the Latinas, the Spanish. It all just comes down to, are you taking care of yourself? Do you have some good genetics?
The downside is you think you can be a player until your dick falls off. And there's this thing of like, well, I'm in my late 40s. I'm still a player. Then I've met some people even in their like early 50s still trying to like play this thing. And it's just a feeling of disgust because it's some...
Well, it's a thing. It's a game. And they are just playing the game. Who wants to stay in the casino? We could go around and say, hey, I've been in the casino for 5 years, 10 years. Some say, hey, I've been here for 40 years and I know how to play the casino really good.
Point. They don't realize it, but there comes this point where they start to look a little pathetic. We feel it, we see it, and these very same men would actually come off as more attractive and more appealing if they were married. And kind of a
beta. I know. And this is the other flip side, is that they're happy to wait for them to get divorced because they know that's the guy. He's going to settle. He's going to settle down.
Double-edged sword, because if they're married, they're really not supposed to be doing too much flirting and going outside and doing all this stuff anyway. But it's like by you trying to be single and this bachelor till Lord knows when, at some point you start to come off a little pathetic. Like, wow, you just don't have any sense of commitment. You don't know.
I mean, that's fair enough. And on the flip side, potentially you and your role having 0 children, that's potentially pathetic because there is a time where that runs out. I could be 40 or 50, and even though I'm not having the children, I could use certain, fill up a cup, so to speak, and I could probably still make it work at that age. I'm not hamstrung by this legitimate biological clock.
How to just shut it down. You want to be a player forever. I don't know if you're watching too many movies. It's the music industry. It's a lot of different things, but
everything in their mind, it's all CC. It's all COCK carousel, the rooster carousel. As if you're not married, therefore you're just out there being a player. You're not potentially doing other things. You're not building up your business or hobbies, or you're building different relationships, maybe working relationships. Who knows?
They actually think it's okay. And then I've also noticed in the past few years of my life, witnessing people who finally will get married to their lady of choice after dating them for 10 years. Yeah, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it's almost as if the men have just like given in. Like, well, I guess I should get married now. It's been 10 years, and since I'm 56 and my dick's not working.
I actually think once you've cohabitated for 2 years, well, it really depends on your country state, you know. Australia, New Zealand, America, and the different states within America, you could be cohabitating for 6 months sometimes and you get on the hook. But normally it seems that once you've cohabitated for 2 years, you're now married. You're basically civil married.
Working quite so well anyway. Might as well do it. Oh, I felt a pain in my leg. Oh, I'm starting to feel this fear of getting older. Who's going to take care of me when my hip starts hurting? Oh, so that's when you want to get married and settle.
Everyone has that issue. Both genders have that issue. You'll hit a certain age and it's like, hey, I need some help now. I need a bit of help. I can't do certain things anymore.
Down when your shit doesn't work. Do you know how insulting that is? You want to get married and do these things when the woman who's marrying you hasn't really seen the prime of you or the best of you, or if she has, she's had to deal with you in non-married terms and or non-committed terms.
Well, prime in what way? You could say haven't maybe had the athletic prime, but maybe you're in a way better financial prime now. Maybe you're just a better overall, like you're a better salesman. Some people just have to sort of grow with that over time.
So insulting. I remember one man saying, yeah, I finally decided that I wanted someone to spend my life with, and like, where am I going? Okay, but that's because you're getting older and you're not as fly as you used to be. So I guess you do want to settle down and get married? Gee.
She was the one. This is kind of a little bit of gaslighting. She wants to get married. I would say, hey, I want to get married, but I want 5 kids. I don't know how old she is. She hypothetically is 40. Nah, can't happen. Well, count me out. I mean, that's as simple as it is.
Thanks. Just some food for thought for some of you men out there who think you just have forever.
I got it. Forever.
Maybe you never want to get married. That's your right.
Yep. Why not? That's an option right there. You don't want to get married. Why does it need to be? But we have to almost defend against that. Oh, well, that's the trick. You just have to be on the defensive all the time.
I'm not about to have a discussion over whether marriage is right or wrong, but for those men who just think that they want to be single and one day they'll get married, don't assume you have all the time in the world, right? This is not like some 200-year lifespan that people are guaranteed. And there's a lot of like this feeling of inevitability and even like immortality that you guys just think you have as you're like just going around doing your thing. So I'll leave it at that. I'm sure I'll have more to say on it later. This was very impromptu.
It feels like she is jealous of her male counterparts in her area. You know, they get to go out there, have fun, get to still be the life of the party as at the older age. But when they're wanting to settle down, they settle down for someone maybe 5 years younger, 10 years younger than this. They don't get to go with the straight up hottie. You know, the 8, 9, 10s. They're just community property sometimes in the modern era.
But please get it together, because even just for the wealth of like our community as people on the planet, and especially Black people on the planet, partnerships and marriages are important. Studies have shown people are more affluent and just have better incomes and better lives and better wealth, and they create more wealth when they establish marriages. So it's not all about the love. As Tina Turner said, what love got to do with it?
But is the TV movie, are they pushing this? Are they saying it's great to have a wife, husband, all these kids, but you're not even talking about kids? But you see, people want this like modern kind of relationship, but you don't have to get married for that. You can just be in the relationship. But anyway, gents, we're going to leave it right there. As always, thoughts, comments, below. And hit that like on the way out. It takes 1.5 seconds. And who's like that subscribe button? We got to press it. We got to press the button. We got to get out of this weird number zone. It's going to get into that creepy number. And we'll see you on the next one. Peace out.